All right, so welcome back to another edition of the Rundown here at Crypto 101. Guys, big news today. Binance US bailed out Voyager. As you guys know, Voyager collapsed among the Luna and the Three Arrows capital crisis back in May. Everybody who had assets on there basically had things frozen in this bankruptcy hearing. As of today, at 8 a.m. Pacific, anybody who had assets locked on Voyager are now going to be made whole, and they're going to be redeemable on Binance US. So I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I'm surprised it's Binance US that's doing this. A, I didn't know they had the funds. And B, I wonder if it's just like a complete pivot for Binance US, who really wasn't getting a lot of exchange traction. As far as I'm concerned, like they're like half dead in the water. Probably, I don't even really count them in like the top 10 exchanges anymore. So to acquire Voyager gives them a whole new vertical of their business to maybe pivot to and focus on.
Yeah, they're gonna force a lot of these retail customers basically onto Binance US. They don't have a choice. It's like, hey, gotta have your money. If you want your money, you're gonna have to trade on our platform. They'll probably be able to withdraw it at some point, but it's also like interesting because Binance International is this largely unregulated exchange, at least in America. And so this is, and a lot of people have been kind of casting shade or throwing shade at CZ, saying that Binance and Binance US aren't entirely at an arm's length. There's still, some level of affiliation, and that, Binance, this unregulated company, is now, acquiring an American, basically, institution. Kind of interesting. I think there's probably a lot of regulatory scrutiny that this deal went through to get done, and they probably checked all the boxes and stuff. But Binance just had $10 billion of withdrawals. Binance International, there's a bank run on it. It survived, but who's to know how deep the waters go? Right, $10 billion. There might not be much water left in the tank.
Yeah, we've seen Binance US go through CEOs more than I go through cream soda. So
yeah, they've had Brian Brooks.
He
left. Catherine Coley, she left. We got Brian Schroeder here now. I think there was another one in between. So you're right. I mean, I think people join and they're like, oh my God, what did I just walk into?
Yeah, so we don't know what they walked into, but it clearly wasn't enough to keep quality talent around. But here they are acquiring more trouble.
Yeah, so another thing with Binance that I saw off the tape today was Boris Johnson's brother. So Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister of England, his brother was an advisor for Binance. And I think specifically what I read, the article was specifically for the UK, trying to bring, Binance crypto trading into the UK. Good to have people in the government in your pockets. But him stepping away, and he gave the quote as, "I no longer have anything to do with Binance or any any other subsidiaries."
Affiliate.
Yeah, I think it kind of, this is a broader discussion of what you said, is the regulatory scrutiny. I think the US, the big guys are going to go after CZ hard. They already have, right? I mean, all the news is very negative towards Binance. Jim Cramer is just absolutely taking shots, jumping off the top rope at CZ. And I think there's just, I just find it interesting. Somebody like a high profile person like that, just starting to step away, get distance. So it's, it's the books and what the real underbelly of CZ in Binance, what's left versus, the big guys are going to keep coming after him.
Yeah. Now, CZ's done more good for the crypto space and the financial inclusion movement.
Be careful. The last time we said that, it was about Sam Bankman-Fried.
But that's what I'm going to get to. But his hands are not squeaky clean, because he is also the guy that helped Sam Bankman-Fried launch an FTX and stuff, and they still co-own several entities together. Obviously, for the worse.
Well, I heard a CNBC interview like this weekend, or maybe it was on Friday or something, and it was these CNBC commentators that were grilling CZ, who elected to go on the show.
It wasn't a great interview.
Not a great interview, and he probably maybe regrets doing it. But something that was interesting was that they kept targeting this $2.1 billion buyout from FTX with customer money, is what they were alluding to Binance, right? And so they're saying, hey, during this whole entire bankruptcy proceeding, do you guys have that money? Like if US regulators come clawing back that $2.1 billion, which was customer money, and do you guys have that to withdraw? And he said, I'm financially strong. We're able to handle it. I'm financially strong. Don't worry about it.
We'll let the lawyers
I don't
handle
know.
it. Oh, no. He ended it
said.
with, we'll let the lawyers handle it after they asked him like 2 times.
Here's the real question. Will Joe Biden give back $300 million?
Exactly. I think a lot of these politicians have blood on their hands as well. What do we do?
It's a big bloody mess that I have to believe at least most people didn't know about from the start. Let's give 7 out of 10 people the benefit of the doubt, because here we are in the space, some of the most informed people in the world about crypto, and we didn't even know about it. So
it's just crazy how to think about clawing back all of Sam Bankman-Fried's donations and all of his investments and all going through and trolling through. I mean, a lot of that money's probably spent, by the people who raised the money or who got donated to it. And so to me, it's just like there's so much wreckage here that, I think people, I see, there's people selling bankruptcy or selling claims to like FTX accounts for 10 cents on the dollar through, very, complex sort of banking structures. It's like, I think people are basically writing this off as a loss because there's not much money to recoup, like to make customers whole. Like he pilfered the entire organization.
The key word to that though is yet, because if you're going to tie FTX and Alameda together, Alameda still has a ton of blue chip prospects on their cap table. And those assets, while they don't have a lot of value now because a lot of them were pre-seed and seed stage investments, in 3 to 5 years, that portfolio could be worth hundreds of billions of dollars if they're able to find support and continue to get off the ground, which coincidentally,
or is it just going to be
FTX failed, CZ comes in with $1 billion developer fund to try and continue forward with a lot of this stuff. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other people that are also co-investors in many of these projects. We talked with Mario Nawfal, who's done a lot of co-investment, for better or for worse, alongside Alameda. They just happen to be on the cap table. He's not directly affiliated with them, but he says, hey, a lot of the stuff they invested in were great things. I didn't invest in this because Alameda was there. I invested in it because it was a great project. So a long bankruptcy hearing might actually be very, very beneficial for some of the claim holders, but place your bets.
Yeah. Place your bets. All I can say is like my fear for Alameda's portfolio is that like, these are just going to be dogs that just drag down the market for years and years and years, because every time, the market pops or whatever, bankruptcy claims are selling off some of these assets that they can, so that like their whole portfolio is just essentially, diluting the entire liquid market, because these things are all illiquid, right? They're locked up in these venture deals that are going to get vested over a period of time. And as those tokens get unlocked, they're probably, they're just going to be getting dumped on the market. And so hopefully there's not, and I don't even know if there's a huge market for a lot of those coins too, right? Like they invest like in terms of like demand, like who's buying Alameda's bags, right? Like they were making those investments thinking they were going to do the same playbook that they've been doing year after year after year. And I think a lot of that just might be dead weight. That's just, fluff that might actually
a lot of it very, very well could be. But if I got the chance to buy their bags for 5 or 10 cents on the dollar, I'd take a position. Definitely not 1 for 1.
Well, is it all for naught, though? Because the Senate Banking Committee this week came out and possibly called for a ban on all crypto, specifically with Sherrod Brown, the a banking chair on that committee. So will it even be here in 5 years? Because the Senate Banking Committee
it's the most laughable thing that I've heard all year. This is Sherrod Brown's like Steve Mnuchin moment, where Steve Mnuchin was famously quoted as saying, "I don't believe I've ever recalled a case where cash was used for criminal activity."
What a dumbass. He was the former Treasury secretary, right?
Yeah, I mean, just blatantly lying through your teeth. This is just another excuse to manipulate the market and shake out some weak, tired hands. They should be sued for market manipulation for giving a quote in public like that, because they know, as the banking committee, that every major U.S. bank already has a division already hired for crypto to
And
custody
staffed
it,
out.
to provide it to their customers. They've already been researching it for years.
Yeah, that guy's fighting an uphill battle. Yeah, that guy's fighting an
Yeah.
uphill battle because you have Bank of America. You just met the head of
Yeah.
crypto at Bank of America. Fidelity, guys, Fidelity. They just
Right.
launched a crypto exchange. That's not like they might. That's not, oh, we signed a letter of intent. It's like, no, people are trading on Fidelity with crypto. BlackRock has the Aladdin platform, which has $20 trillion. You guys, most of you guys can't even think that high, right? $20 trillion of assets on Aladdin. In just last month, connected Aladdin to Coinbase for Bitcoin, right? Only for Bitcoin. No, none of the other assets, which is like one thing that's like an argument kind of against this whole thing. But that means there's $20 trillion of asset management flowing around that could now very easily, in a click of a button, allocate to Bitcoin, which is going to be a huge underswell for the entire market. So any politician in America or abroad who's advocating for banning crypto is not only technically inept, knowing that it's impossible to, completely eradicate a decentralized network. It's like a hydra. You cut off one head, it's going to sprout up in a million different spots, right? 7 different places. And I think that one of the other interesting things is that, these banks are going all in on crypto, and they're not just going to just write them off because, a senator says we're banning it. Like, that's just the most out of touch sort of idea I've ever heard.
And
it's like banning the
it's
internet.
just like everything else in this world. These guys are talking their own book.
Yeah.
And if you look at who's on the Senate Banking Committee, it's a lot of the worst people in the Senate that we've been quoting over and over again throughout the years for being absolutely insane, Elizabeth Warren included. I saw an interesting stat about Elizabeth Warren and her insanity and ineptitude. That's going to be, the theme of maybe of this show and maybe next year as well. We'll see. She's proposed over 560 laws, and only one of them has ever been passed.
Wow.
I mean, that is the worst batting average of all time.
That's not even baseball. That's not even good baseball.
For anything.
So she's so about 600 bills she's proposed, and one of those has become law.
Yeah, you could be a fat midget pro wrestler who's blind,
horrible odds,
who only tries to target Playboy supermodels in their 20s and have better success. And Elizabeth Warren does her job as a senator. Fucking pathetic.
Speaking of midget wrestlers, I did see a legless MMA guy have a nasty takedown and his debut. He has no legs. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's pretty cool stuff.
I'm just thinking of from the perspective of his opponent, how do you fight a guy like that? There's nowhere to wrap your legs around.
I know the guy was trying to do jujitsu, and this guy was swinging around him, and he had a nice submission. It was crazy.
Phenomenal.
Do you know? Did he win?
Yeah, he won.
Oh hell yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he won.
Building on Bryce, you said they're like a hydra. You cut one head off, they keep growing. Another hydra that just can't get out of the news cycle is Donald Trump. Love him or hate him, he did drop NFTs last week. He sold 45,000 of them in 12 hours. It was a sellout. Raked in $4.5 million in cash, and the floor price of all these has already, I think, doubled. Just fascinating stuff. I don't know what you guys. Are NFTs back? People are asking, are NFTs back?
I did see that a lot of the art was
stock
watermarked.
Yeah, it was
Adobe, it was stock footage.
Yeah, it was Adobe stock
Shutterstock. So hey, he's just out here just trying to make it. Love him or hate him, Donald Trump's always going to find a way to reach his audience, right? He's going to try and connect with his audience in a way that they relate to. He was all over Twitter in the early days. He's all about the people, right? Or at least that's his image, right? Talking to the people, being with the people, meeting them where they're at. And so I think that the Trump NFTs are partly grift, right? A quick buck. But they're also I think Melania launched an NFT collection years ago, or maybe last year, 2 years ago, or something like that. And so, they've got a very digital first strategy. And I think this is just their advisors he didn't just wake up and say, oh, I'm going to launch NFTs. I think this is cool. No, his digital media advisors are coaching him and basically saying this is how we're going to reconnect with a certain base. This is how we're going to really engage. I think they're just taking advantage of the technology because again, a few $1,000,000 isn't like the end goal here. I think it's something about the image more or less. But
I'm going to take the other side of that bet, Bryce. I'm going to bet that he did roll out of bed at 9 a.m., decide he's going to make an NFT collection because he's overheard everything happening in Florida at Art Basel, pulled a bunch of stuff off Shutterstock, minted it all by himself without even talking to anyone who would have told him this is a terrible idea. And you could at least hire an artist and delay this, a week. And he's like, no, we're going to do it now. Anyone dumb enough to vote for me is dumb enough to buy this NFT, and I'll prove it to you. And he did.
Well, I mean, I think it's like it's engaging his base because you could buy one and then have the chance to get dinner with him or play golf with him and all that kind of stuff. And I think that
but he was right.
At least there's a little bit of
I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole here because this isn't this isn't 100% truthful. But I'm reading an article right now about Melania's NFT. And apparently, according to this article, which is artnet.com, Annie Armstrong, February 11th, Melania put up her NFT for sale. It was an auction where it sold for $180,000 at the time, 1,800 Solana. A month later, it looks like she bought it herself. The public records show that the auction winner was actually the same address that minted the piece.
Yeah, we've seen that plenty of times in NFTs.
But yeah, the guys who bought Beeple's $69 million art collection, his Beeple. NFT. I mean, that was NFT insiders, right? Those were like, they had an NFT fund, and I think that there was some like foul play there as well.
Yeah, because last price is what dictates value, even if it's the complete outlier.
Yeah.
So
a lot of stuff like that with NFTs, people like kind of wash trading them, like buying them from themselves from a different wallet and then marking it up and marking it up. And it's
I wonder if Donald Trump's team had a bunch of bots buying 45,000 worth of the things, maybe
setting the floor.
Right.
You never know.
So quick take. I almost had it right. I said last week, Bryce and I, Pizza wasn't here, but we said we took bets of when we thought SBF was going to be transferred to the U.S. I said this weekend. I was sure of it. I thought today I was almost right. It sounded like over the weekend. Yeah, it was close. He was breaking. He didn't like being in with the rats in the Bermuda prison. But now apparently he's backtracking. He wants to see what he's being charged with officially before he comes home to the U.S. because he knows he's in trouble. But Pete, what do you see? And now that you're back with us, are you keeping tabs on SBF?
No, not really. I follow a couple of the influencers that are over there at his trial right now. And one of them says he looked SBF in the eyes today and he's never seen a human being more scared shitless. So good. Fuck him. No sympathy for the devil.
Yeah. Hopefully he's getting his vegan meals.
I heard he is. I heard he's hanging out in the health ward.
Of all the people to buy off in the world, why not buy that prison like 3 years ago? Buy the prison, bring it up to standard, be a hero, just in case you ever have to go there yourself. You're treated like a king.
Club fed.
How did he not see that possibility?
You said he's hanging out at the infirmary.
Yeah, they say he's not in a normal cell. He's actually in the health ward. It has a bed. He's watching movies on a day-to-day basis. He's reading articles about himself, and he's getting vegan meals. And this was attested to by one of his caretakers in the health ward that spoke out to a Bahamas newspaper.
So it's like when you were in fourth grade and you had like a test that you didn't study for, so you had a tummy ache and you had to go down to the nurse's office and hang out in the bed and stare up the fluorescent lights.
Yep, the popcorn ceiling.
All right, two small things to finish off on, some fun stuff. Dogecoin officially has a bigger market cap than Coinbase.
Wow. That to me is shocking to think about.
We covered it a couple weeks ago. Bigger than Domino's, bigger than what was it? The car company, Toyota. Yeah. I think it was like Toyota, crazy. Domino's Pizza, Expedia. But now the company that sells crypto, this one crypto that's a shit coin that nobody believes in. Do we believe in it? We don't know. Is bigger than Coinbase.
Does that mean the bottom is in, or with that kind of price to value dislocation, does that mean we still have a lot further to go until Doge is like back to a tenth of a penny?
Yeah, dude, it's a good question, and it's an existential question for me. Like if you look at it like from the surface, you're like, wow, like it makes you not believe in market caps as like really a reflective, like something that reflects actual value. Because Coinbase is something that's used by 100 million people around the world or something, has real revenue, real executives, real businesses, all that kind of stuff, many different investments across, the crypto world, and all that tied together has a market cap of 5 billion, right? So, really what's that a function of? It's just a function of people, in the short term saying that we think, crypto is not valuable, so we're just going to sell anything crypto related. Now, I think it's really because, Coinbase is a more liquid market really than Dogecoin. Dogecoin, as well, it's like, it's heavily manipulated. Most of the trading activity is offshore. It's, it's been pumped and dumped. It's got a very, very centralized supply, the top X amount of wallets hold, 90%. And so from that standpoint, it's like, market cap is just no longer really a good metric.
I mean, it could be the future currency of Mars. So, I mean, it could.
I don't know. To me, to me, it's insane, because it's just not secure. Like, people could, if you really wanted to, spin up enough mining machines and fork the chain.
What?
It's just not taken seriously by any like legitimate blockchain developer, really.
Well, that's true, but you can't do that because it's merge mined with Litecoin. So you'd have to essentially break both of them, because everyone who mines Litecoin also mines Doge because it's essentially free.
Right, but go look up the price. Go look up the price to attack Litecoin. It's probably a few $100,000 an hour. Like that's not nation state level resistance, in my opinion. Like to attack Bitcoin, it's billions of dollars an hour. Now to attack Ethereum with the new proof of stake, it's billions of dollars to spend to attack per hour, to take it offline or to come up with a new blockchain, basically that, fills up your accounts and drains other people's accounts and basically have everybody validate that one. Like you could do really deep.
Let's not give them the playbook here, Bryce. Come on, calm down. Take it down a notch.
That's my point. I think you're overthinking this. Like you said, you guys are smart people that really think this thing through. The people that own Doge is billions of people that bought, $100 of it, thinking they're going to get rich. And most people don't invest. That's like saying like it makes sense in my mind, it makes sense because it was a cultural phenomenon versus like an investment vehicle. Most people, you pick them off the street, don't know how to read a chart, don't know how to properly invest.
I think that's exactly what this is indicative of. It's showing us that there's a fundamental shift in like investing in all that kind of stuff. It's like, because it shows like crypto isn't measurable by the same metrics, right? Like, you could people could look at stocks and do price to earnings. You could do, discounted cash flow analysis. You could look at it and you could get a value, and then you back into a market cap and a price per share and all that stuff. But it's really, really hard to apply those same things to cryptocurrencies.
Exactly.
When you,
that's a great point.
It's viral media.
I think if we could track anything, I would want to track developer activity. I would want to track active wallets. I would want to track smart contract calls, and I would want to track memes.
I love memes.
That to me shows the value of a coin and a community.
Yeah, we need a tab on that for the tie.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up on this last question. Elon put out a poll last night saying, should he step down from the CEO of Twitter? It finished, I think it was like 57% said yes. So will he do that? We don't know. But if you guys could choose the CEO of Twitter, who would it be?
I think he'll always be in charge behind the scenes because he was the one who spent all the money on buying it. And so
right, you're the owner. If Bryce could pick somebody, be like, yeah, like I'm a crypto, we're crypto focused, so we want somebody that's, in our corner. Like, who would you pick? Who would you pick?
It's a good question. Who would I pick to run? I mean, Elon was always my pick, and like the fact that it actually came true, it's like I'm sticking with my boy Elon. I hope he says, fuck this poll.
He's the owner. He can do what he wants. Pizza?
If I have to pick someone from the crypto space, I think Bruce Fenton, who was running for
Senate,
but didn't quite make it. I think he'd be a good pick, and he's a good voice for the industry. But if you need someone from the social media side, what's Tom from MySpace doing?
I love that answer.
He did reply. He did reply to
that.
Elon's thing.
I saw that. And I said, hey, man, let's give this guy the reins again. He did a great job. I'd love to have some music on my Twitter profile and be able to put, my top 8 there. So I can easily find them.
Bring back top 8. Bring back top 8.
I love that answer. Fantastic. I'm going to go fictional, and I'm going to go as Tony Stark. Ooh. But if Robert Downey...
You're going to say Tony Soprano.
Yeah. But if Robert Downey Jr. wants to do it, I mean, that'd be fun.